The Sea Line extension to Torrance Project is studying light rail transit options to extend the Sea Line further south from the existing Redondo Beach Marine Station to the new Torrance Transit Center, serving Lawndale, Redondo Beach, Torrance, and the Greater South Bay. Metro is studying two alignments which would both provide two new stations. The right-of-way alignment would follow the existing railroad freight corridor that Metro owns, with a proposed station at the future Redondo Beach Transit Center. The Hawthorne Boulevard alignment would parallel the I-405 freeway and continue on Hawthorne Boulevard with a proposed station near the South Bay Galleria. South of 190th Street, both alignments travel on the Metro right-of-way to a new terminus station at the Torrance Transit Center. We'll now look at the proposed design options for both alignments. Metro is studying two options along the right-of-way alignment. The first option would include an elevated segment in the north where the light rail trains travel above street level before transitioning to run at grade south of 162nd Street. Between the existing Redondo Beach Marine Station and 162nd Street, two new light rail tracks would travel in an elevated structure to cross over the existing freight tracks and 6 streets. This elevated section allows the streets to remain open to vehicle and pedestrian traffic below. The existing freight track would be rebuilt and would remain at grade as it is today. Many residents walk along the freight corridor today. As part of the project, Metro is exploring opportunities to create a neighborhood walking path in the right-of-way between 159th Street and 170th Street. From the sidewalk looking east at 162nd and Condon Avenue, you can see the current freight tracks remain at grade. Metro would add safety features to these freight crossings, such as crossing gates, bells, and lights to be quiet zone ready. A quiet zone could be implemented by local cities in coordination with the California Public Utility Commission along this corridor to eliminate the need for freight trains to blow their horns and reduce noise. Looking west, you can see the elevated light rail allows for the street to remain open to vehicle and pedestrian traffic. After crossing over 162nd Street, the light rail tracks would transition down to run at street level on the east side of the freight tracks in the right-of-way. Metro is studying different options for retaining walls, sound walls, and fencing to reduce noise and sightline concerns, as well as address safety. Metro is also studying where existing trees could be preserved and new trees and landscaping could be planted to provide greenery in the neighborhood. South of 170th Street, the light rail would continue traveling at grade and cross over Artesia Boulevard and Grant Avenue on new bridges. Between Grant Avenue and 182nd Street, a station is proposed on the west side of the Redondo Beach Transit Center to create easy transfers between bus and rail. Metro is studying the opportunity for a neighborhood path that would connect people to the proposed rail station and bus transit center, as well as improve access between bike lanes on Grant Avenue and El Nido Park to the south. Looking east at the right-of-way at 182nd Street, you can see that both the light rail and freight trains would cross 182nd Street at grade. Looking west, you can see safety features that Metro is studying for this project, such as crossing gates, bells, and lights. Metro is designing freight crossings along the right-of-way to be quiet zone ready. South of 182nd Street, the light rail trains continue at grade in order to cross over 190th Street. South of 190th Street, the light rail trains continue south along the right-of-way towards the Torrance Terminus Station. The second option studied for the right-of-way alignment would locate the light rail trains below street level in an open-air trench between Inglewood Avenue and 182nd Street. The trench allows all 8 street crossings to remain open to vehicle and pedestrian traffic above. The light rail trains would begin transitioning from the elevated structure at the existing Redondo Beach Marine Station down into an open-air trench to cross under Inglewood Avenue and other cross streets. The light rail would be located below street level, and the existing freight tracks would remain at grade. To improve the freight crossings, safety features such as crossing arms for vehicles and pedestrians, gates, bells, and lights are being studied. The crossing improvements are designed to be quiet zone ready. Here is a view of some of the safety features to improve the freight crossings. Looking east from the sidewalk at 162nd Street and Condon Avenue, the light rail runs below, allowing the street to remain open to vehicle and pedestrian traffic. In the view looking west, you can see the current freight tracks remain at grade. Many residents walk along the freight corridor today. As part of the project, Metro is looking to create a neighborhood path to provide a safe recreational space for walking, biking, and enjoyment. Metro is studying where existing trees can be preserved, as well as strategies to improve safety for pedestrians and cyclists at street crossings where freight trains run today. South of 170th Street, the light rail trains would transition out of the trench to run at grade in order to cross over Artesia Boulevard and Grant Avenue on new bridges. The trench option would also provide a new metro station at the Redondo Beach Transit Center for easy connections between bus and rail, and include a neighborhood path between Grant Avenue and 182nd Street to connect to the station and bus center, as well as the surrounding neighborhoods and El Nido Park. To separate trains from vehicles and pedestrians at 182nd Street, the light rail trains would cross under the street in a short trench. Looking east, the street would remain open to vehicle and pedestrian traffic. The current freight tracks would remain at grade. Looking west, you can see some of the safety features that Metro is studying at the intersection to improve the freight crossing to be quiet zone ready. A quiet zone could be implemented by local cities in coordination with the California Public Utilities Commission, which could eliminate the use of freight horns in this corridor, reducing noise for the community. South of 182nd Street, the light rail trains transition from the open-air trench to continue at grade to 190th Street. South of 190th Street, the light rail trains continue on the right-of-way towards the terminus station in Torrance. Now let's look at the Hawthorne Boulevard alignment, which would run above street level and parallel the I-405 freeway before connecting to Hawthorne Boulevard. This alignment would remain elevated along Hawthorne Boulevard until it turns east to connect to the right-of-way near 190th Street and continues to the Torrance Transit Center. The Hawthorne alignment would remain elevated traveling south from the existing Redondo Beach Marine Station and turning east to parallel the I-405 freeway to avoid residential homes. Where the elevated tracks run parallel to residential homes, Metro is studying strategies to reduce noise and vibrations such as sound walls. Metro is also studying different landscape features along the elevated structure as part of the project. Around 162nd Street, the elevated tracks would turn south onto Hawthorne Boulevard, running in the center of the street. The tracks would be supported by columns that touch down in the median space. The elevated configuration maximizes safety and reduces potential conflicts between the flow of vehicles, pedestrians, cyclists, and trains on this busy commercial street. Metro is studying ways to increase the number of street trees on Hawthorne Boulevard and reduce changes to on-street parking used by local businesses. The Hawthorne alignment would include a station on Hawthorne Boulevard just south of Artesia Boulevard. A new station plaza would be located in the center of the street with elevators, escalators, and stairs to reach the platform. Metro is exploring adding new crosswalks to provide easy access between the station and the South Bay Galleria, as well as surrounding businesses, bus stops, and neighborhoods. The Hawthorne alignment would turn southeast to reconnect with the Metro right-of-way near 190th Street. South of 190th Street, all of the options would continue in the Metro right-of-way to the new terminus station at the Torrance Transit Center. In this segment, the light rail travels through an industrial area. Metro would shift and rebuild the freight tracks in this area to accommodate 2 new light rail tracks while protecting spur tracks that serve adjacent properties. The project would end at a new rail station at the Torrance Transit Center, allowing for easy connections to the bus plaza, parking, and a potential future development. As part of the next phase of this study, Metro will work with the cities and neighborhoods to develop first last mile plans to identify design strategies for pedestrian and bike improvements around the station area. This is intended to improve safety and strengthen linkages to the surrounding neighborhoods, as well as key destinations like Old Town Torrance. The C-Line extension to Torrance connects to the regional transit network that provides connections to the existing rail and bus lines throughout the South Bay. These include direct connections to the future K-Line, Metro bus lines, and local and regional bus lines. As Metro continues to study light rail transit options for the South Bay corridor, further design details will be made available. To sign up for project updates, please visit our website at metro.net/clineext. Thank you.